here's something to take a quick look at. And you can decide where you are in this grid. All right, so we have focus, right? And we have action. Two prerequisites to succeed, right? We have low, and we have high, right? Now, if you have low focus and low action, you are considered stuck, right? If you have low focus and low action, you're considered stuck. If you have high focus and low action, you're considered a daydreamer. You have all these ideas on your mind, you focus on all these different things you want to get done, but you're not moving. Everybody clear on that? Yeah. Now, if you have what we call low focus and high action, you are messy. Because you're all over the place. You are busy doing all kinds of different things with no focus. Ever know anybody like that? Right? But if you have high focus and you have high action, then you're considered to be a peak performer. We all fall in one of these blocks. Now granted, we can shift through these different blocks, but obviously we want to be right here. But what we have to do is get honest on where are we, right? Because I know taking action is really important, but if you take action with no sense of direction and focus, that's going to pretty much spell disaster. Wouldn't you agree? So we have to make sure we take focused action, not just act for the sake of acting. So we want to be honest on, when we look at this, where are we? What do we need to clean up? Because we have to make sure that we're honest with ourselves, with our level of awareness, because where we are is our only starting point. There's no need to have any regrets on where we are. Because this is our only starting point. And if we're going to start exactly where we are, we need to be honest on where we are. So it can help us to move forward. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, yes or no? Yes. Okay, so we want to make sure we know exactly where we are when it comes to this particular grid. Because when it comes to doing this business, where do you think you're going to have your greatest impact and results? Right here. Focus on very specific activities and taking very consistent, unmovable actions. Right? Now I'll leave you with this. Because this is the reason why most people are like right here, these two particular places, where it's like low in action. There's inertia. Right? And there's three types of inertia. I'll give these to you real quick and then we'll take a break. You have what's called cognitive inertia. Cognitive inertia is we don't even see something has to change. Right? Ever been talking to somebody and they just didn't get it? They just didn't see it? They didn't see that something had to change. And it's kind of like what we call pigeon thinking. So you understand what I mean by pigeon thinking? You can take two pigeons and put them into a box and have two different feeders. Let's say one's red and one's blue. And you put food in the red feeder, right? And you can put the pigeon in the box. The pigeon will peck around until it finds the feeder with the food in it. You can take the food from one feeder and put it into the other one. The pigeon will continue to peck in the first feeder until it dies of starvation. It never saw that it had to change. Are you following me? That's cognitive inertia. Not seeing that something has to change is very dangerous. The second form of inertia is action inertia. We see something has to change, but we never build the skills to change it. Right? You see something has to change, but because you've never built the skills, you're kind of like immobilized, and it's like you're not really able to do something about it. Right? And then the third one, which is the place most people live in, is called voluntary inertia, which is we see something has to change. We have the ability to change it, but we don't do anything about it. And you know why we don't do anything about it? No vision. No mission. No why must we win. Are you following me? Yeah. No why must we win. Or they sold their soul out to the opinions of other people. Or maybe I tried before. Right? Kind of like the barracuda and the mullet, right? You can take a barracuda, and they've done this before. They put a barracuda, and barracuda loves mullets. That's his thing. He loves mullets, right? Or she, right? And you put the barracuda with mullets in a tank, and he's going to eat up all those mullets. But they took a barracuda, put it into a tank, and they put some mullets on the other side, and they separated it with a clear glass, and the barracuda couldn't see the glass. Barracuda saw the mullets, and it darted toward the mullet and smashed it through the glass. And you can only picture what was going through his little barracuda brain, right? What the heck is that all about, right? He can't figure it out. So he kept smashing, trying to get the mullets. But then they noticed that every attempt to get the mullets was weaker and weaker and weaker. Then it got to the point where the barracuda never tried to go for the mullets ever again. They removed the glass, and the mullets could circle around the barracuda, and he never tried to go for it again. He felt like he could never, ever get it. He allowed the resistance to outlast his persistence. Never let the resistance in life outlast your persistence. At some point, obstacles give way to somebody that's resilient. Always. We don't want to have this cattle guard thinking, right? You're like, what the heck is cattle guard? Well, I live in Texas, where you see more cattle than people, so I know a little bit about cattle guard thinking, right? And what they have, how many know what a cattle guard is? They have these cattle guards. What they initially do is they put up these real guards. So if the cattle try to leave and they step through it, it's very hazardous. Cattle don't like it. It's like these guardrails, and their feet can slip through it. It's just I just don't want to be part of this, right? And what happens is the cattle become conditioned to know that when they see those bars, it's hazardous, and they will steer clear of it. They won't go anywhere near it. Then what happens is the cattle owners take up the actual guards and paint white lines. That's all they do. And the cattle, they see the white lines, and all they think are those guards, and man, that's going to be painful, I ain't going over there. All it is paint. Cattle guard thinking is that you have certain negative experiences in your life, and you begin to, if something looks that way, looks similar, resembles it, all of a sudden, it seems hazardous, and you look to avoid it. Sometimes it's an opportunity to make more money, an opportunity to do something. All you have are these negative references, and man, when I tried that before, woo, that was painful. So what happens is, instead of becoming stronger, we end up becoming weaker. Does that make any sense, yes or no? So we want to avoid those kinds of different things, because in this business, you're going to be challenged. Every single one of us are. Like I said, there's no immunity, right? Accept your challenges and get over every challenge, because what's waiting for you is another challenge. Right? So what we need to do is embrace the fact that we're going to be challenged and figure out a way to be turned on by it and look forward to it, knowing that on the other side are greater rewards. There's always going to be a challenge to wait for us, every single one of us. In this business, man, the rewards are so phenomenal, the learning is so exciting, and it's you'll understand soon enough why it's you didn't think you're an 8-hour a night person right now. You'll soon see that, you know what, I think I can go on 4 hours this week. Because this business is intoxicating. It really is. It will create a certain healthy obsession for you that all of a sudden just starts to alter how you're living your life, not just financially, but in other areas.